Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to talk about some rumors that are circulating about the New York Jets. Now, this came out yesterday from ESPN's Rich Cimini, and we all know that it's rumors, so we do not know if this is all true, but I would not be shocked if this is true because Joe Douglas is trying to be aggressive to bring in a star receiver to the New York Jets, and the evidence is there. We all know that the New York Jets were heavily pursuing wide receiver Tyreek Hill before he chooses the Miami Dolphins. So the report is saying that Joe Douglas is keeping an eye on star receivers like DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, and Deebo Samuel because all three of those receivers are going into their final contract year. And if contract extensions go south with those organizations and they do not want to pay him, the New York Jets and Joe Douglas should do everything they can to trade for those players and pay them big time money, because not only was Joe Douglas willing to trade a lot of draft capital for Tyreek Hill, but he was willing to open up the bank and make him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. So what does that tell you? That tells you that Joe Douglas prioritizes the wide receiver position and he's willing to break the bank to bring in a star receiver. So I know this report came out over the weekend. I'm a little late on this news. I'm sorry, I was busy over the weekend, so I can only make this video today on Monday. But I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments before I get into my thoughts. Please let me know, would you want the New York Jets to go out there and trade for one of these three receivers? Do you think this would be a big time move for the New York Jets? Because I sure do. And before I get into the video, I just want to mention, if you guys are new to Jets Media, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you want to check me out over on Instagram and Twitter, that is at NYJets_media. And if you enjoy the video, please do not forget to thumbs it up. With that being said, let's jump right in. So all season long, I think every Jets fan knew that trading for a wide receiver was in the conversation, whether it was Calvin Ridley at the time, before we all know what happened with that. We all were expecting DK Metcalf to be available because of the Seattle Seahawks rebuild by trading Russell Wilson. And all of a sudden, the Tyreek Hill situation came out of absolutely nowhere. And that really makes us as Jets fans and even NFL fans realize that anybody can be available at any given moment. So what Joe Douglas is doing right now is monitoring the situation, keeping an eye on these receivers, because there is no report saying that the Seahawks or the 49ers or the Titans are wanting to trade these three players. But the reason why I want to make this video and why this report even came out in the first place is because the New York Jets are keeping an eye on them just in case the contract negotiations go south. So say, for example, the San Francisco 49ers are trying to get a contract done with Deebo Samuel, and the money just does not work for the franchise of the San Francisco 49ers, and they feel like, okay, you know what? The money's not going to do this. We value other positions. Not saying this is going to happen, but it's just an example of how this stuff happens, because you saw with the Kansas City Chiefs, the reason why they moved on from Tyreek Hill is not because they don't like him as a player, not because they don't like what he brings to their offense. They simply cannot afford paying him that money while paying Patrick Mahomes that crazy contract that they have. So they had to move on from Tyreek Hill and get a lot of draft capital and go elsewhere in free agency, like signing Juju. So say the 49ers do not get a big contract signed with Deebo, and they say, okay, we like our chances going out there in the draft, getting ourselves another Deebo Samuel in the second round, and potentially, going out there and drafting someone that would pay a little cheaper. And then they decide to go out there and trade Deebo Samuel. Not saying this is going to happen, but this is what it happens. It's the business of the NFL. Sometimes players get disgruntled. Sometimes the agents and the organizations cannot figure out a contract, and they do not agree on the terms that they feel like is worth. And that's what happened with Tyreek Hill. And you never know. That can happen with these three young players. I'm not getting my hopes up saying that the New York Jets are because the reason why my thought process on this, guys, I'm sorry, I'm trying to gather all my thoughts because this is a very interesting conversation. I'm not expecting the Titans or the Seahawks or the 49ers to trade these three players, because why would they? If you put your mindset in the organizations of the Seahawks, 49ers, and Titans, why would you want any of these players to walk out the building and trade them away? You want to keep them. I feel like wide receiver is a big-time premier position now in the NFL. We saw Devontae Adams get traded and get a big-time contract. We see Tyreek Hill get traded for a lot of capital, get a big-time contract. We see all these wide receivers getting big-time money, and we know that Joe Douglas is prioritizing this position. So why would the Seahawks move on for DK Metcalf? The only way is they really feel like they want to go all in on the rebuild and get as many assets as possible. They do not want to pay DK Metcalf a lot of money during a rebuild, because they do not have a quarterback outside of Drew Lock right now. I know that the Seahawks might go a quarterback in the draft. We do not know. But hypothetically speaking, say the Seattle Seahawks front office really feel like they do not want to pay DK Metcalf around $20+ million per year when we don't have an actual quarterback, we don't have an actual winning now roster. They'd rather go out there, trade him away for some draft capital, open up some cap flexibility for the future, and really go all in on the rebuild. And a team like the Jets are in a perfect situation to sacrifice draft capital, and we still have enough cap space to pay a player like that, which is why the New York Jets and Joe Douglas have done such a great job of acquiring ammunition throughout these past couple of seasons for draft capital, because opportunities like this present themselves, and the New York Jets are in are in a really good situation to really pounce on it. And we heard Robert Saleh speak to the media today saying that they're ready to make a big time swing, and we saw evidence of it when Tyreek Hill became available. Joe Douglas was absolutely all over potentially trading for Tyreek Hill. Now, we also found out that Joe Douglas was really interested in trading for Calvin Ridley, and we all know what happened with Calvin Ridley. Joe Douglas called the Falcons, and the Falcons probably told him the situation that, hey, in a couple of weeks, you're going to find out what's going on. He's going to be suspended potentially, and we all know what happened. So it's not like Joe Douglas is not being aggressive and he's not making any moves. I feel like there's potentially going to be a big-time move before the NFL draft that will shock a lot of Jets fans. It's not guaranteed, but the good thing is that Joe Douglas is making sure that he's keeping an eye on all the situations around the league about the wide receiver position, because he values playmakers. He values speed. We saw what he did last year by getting Elijah Moore, adding to that playmaker room, and he wants to add a star receiver next to our upcoming star receiver in Elijah Moore, next to our veteran receiver in Corey Davis, and next to the guy that we brought back in Braxton Berrios. They're hopeful that Denzel Mims can take a step in year number 3. Who knows if that will happen? I'm not expecting anything from Denzel Mims, to be honest. Hopefully that he can go into training camp and prove a lot of Jets fans, including myself, wrong. So we all know that the Jets have a pretty good receiver room right now at the top. But my problem is there's not a lot of depth, and we're one big-time star receiver away. So say if the New York Jets hypothetically do not trade for one of these star receivers that we're talking about in this video, then it's definite that they're going to go into the NFL draft and draft one at number 10 or 35. A guy like Treylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, maybe Christian Watson, Dotson. I mean, there's so many guys in the draft. Chris Olave. You all know the wide receiver prospects in the NFL draft. So the good news is, say the Jets do not trade for a receiver like an A.J. Brown or a DK or Deebo Samuel or even a Terry McLaurin. He's another receiver that's going into a contract year. Say all those opportunities go south and they all sign contract extensions, right? Say Deebo signs with the 49ers, AJ signs with the Titans, DK signs an extension with the Seahawks, Terry signs an extension with the Commanders, and the Jets are sitting pat like, uh-oh, we're not getting one of those receivers in the trade market. Well, the good news is we have enough draft capital to potentially find our own star receiver in the NFL draft to pair up with Elijah Moore. So it's not like a terrible situation where we're so desperate where, oh my gosh, we need to trade for one, otherwise we're screwed. That's not the case. We have 2 picks in the top 10, which gives us so much flexibility. I think the Jets, if they're smart, will go trenches at number 4, whether that's offense or defense, and then go wide receiver at 10 or wide receiver at 35, because this wide receiver class is deep, and I feel like they could potentially get their own star receiver in the draft and not have to worry about giving up a lot of capital, not have to worry about paying that man right up front, right this second. We can still develop our own player. So let me know your thoughts, guys, but I will finish off the video that if one of these 3 players do become available on the trade market where their contract extensions go south and they feel like it's not going to work out, the Jets and Joe Douglas should be all over it, and I have confidence that they will be all over it, because what I saw from Joe Douglas with the Kansas City Chiefs going all in for Tyreek Hill tells me a lot about him as a GM and how much he prioritizes the wide receiver position. So I know I'm late on the news, guys, but I want to hear your thoughts of this topic. Please let me know down below in the comments your thoughts, and don't forget to like the video if you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Let's go Jets. Peace.